and welcome to this week's edition of the Roundtable. My name is Major Daniels. On May the 6th this year, the Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit came up with guidelines, which they call guidelines to reduce vulnerabilities created by cash withdrawals from local government funds throughout Nigeria. And part of those guidelines is that funds allocation will now go directly to the 774 local government, and that no local government can make cash withdrawal above 500,000 naira in a day. If they have to do that, they have to do that through a check or via e-transaction. They also say that a local government without democratically elected chairman may not get their allocation. They also say that money will go into the JAC account, but just for the purpose of not for withdrawal, but under state shouldn't take against state. In fact, they said that they are in court already on this matter. The Akwa Ibom state government instructed a case on his own part, and the court declined to stop that those directives from going into effect on June 1. June 1 was Saturday. But the governors are saying that they would not abide with these directives, and they will go ahead because they believe they are unconstitutional and not legal. Let me welcome my studio guest, Dr. Ani. You're welcome on the program. Sunday Ani, you're welcome on the program.
Thank you, sir.
Barrister Charles Titiloye, you're welcome on the program.
It's a pleasure coming on this program.
And Barrister Maraki Ogele, you're welcome on the program.
Listeners, good afternoon. It's another day again. Please get through to Adaba.
Now, for many of those people who are engaged the directives of the NFIU guidelines, they have been citing Section 162. The governors did same in their letter to President Muhammadu Buhari. Section 162, subsection 8, but I would like to read from subsection 6, which states that each state shall maintain a special account to be called State Joint Local Government Account, into which shall be paid all allocations to the local government councils of the state from the federation account and from the government of the state. Then subsection 7, each state shall pay to local government councils in its area of jurisdiction such proportion of its total revenue on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the National Assembly. Then subsection 8 says the amount standing to the credit of local government councils of a state shall be distributed among the local government councils of that state on such terms and in such manner as may be prescribed by the House of Assembly of the state. The governors also cited Section 7 of the Nigerian Constitution, which states that the system of Section 7 subsection 1 states that the system of local government by democratically elected local government councils is under this constitution guaranteed, and accordingly the government of every state shall subject to Section 8 of this constitution and ensure their existence under a law which provides for the establishment, structure, composition, finance and functions of such councils. Let me begin from Barrister Charles Titiloye. What would you say to those who say that there has to be a constitutional amendment for the NFIU guidelines to come into effect?
Yes, the NFIU, which is a Nigerian Financial Intelligence Unit,
created from the FCC,
is meant to do one thing: to track public funds. They are to track the flow of public funds and offer advice to government in order to check corruption. That is the essence of that unit. That unit is not a unit set up to checkmate either the federal government or the state government. They are advisory units. Now, pursuant to their activity, they have duty to issue guidelines to enable them to track funds, revenue of government. But in doing so, they cannot act contrary to what the Constitution
says
has already provided for. And that is why...
So you're saying the governors are right?
That is why the circular they have issued is very, very controversial, because it goes beyond the power of that particular unit. Their power is to track funds, but wherein they issue regulation which has to affect the distribution of local government funds,
which is constitutional.
That section 162 talk about states being allocated funds and
then it goes on to distributing it.
Two functions is given to the state here. They are to they are to receive and to distribute. It is not the local government that receive money from the federation account, because local government is not a federating unit. They cannot receive. It's the state that will receive, and the express word used by that constitution is for the benefit of their local government. That is, you see, the local government are beneficiary in the respect of funds sent to them through the state. And so, when the constitution says in benefit of their, that means the local government belongs to the state. Especially when you look at section 7, it's very clear. It is to the effect that the state has the power to make law for the financing of the local government. And it's also very expressly clear that the money sent from federal government will be appropriated for by the National Assembly. And now it is local government funded. You fund local government by joint contribution by federal government and the state government. Yeah. And so it becomes very interesting. If a unit, a federal agency said is tracking the flow of money sent into joint to state and local government joint accounts, he has to do another thing. Track the one also appropriated for by the State House of Assembly. The concept our people have about this local government idea is that all the money used by the local government is received from Abuja. It is wrong. The constitution says
the state government, revenue generated by the state government.
The state government also appropriate for the, and recently, those states here, money received from tenement rates through land use charges were also distributed to the same local government. It's not for federal government. So, how will the NFIU directive work in a circumstance where both federal and state government are funding the local government?
Would you even, in a federal system of government, if Nigeria is truly practicing federalism as we frequently mouth, would you even, where of course there are two tiers of government in a federal system of government, and the state administer the local government. That's why in the Nigerian constitution, the state can even create local government. Should the local government, if funds will be going directly to local government account, would the federal government not be treating local government as a tier, as the top tier of government?
That is the mistake that unit is making, because when it comes to issue of sitting down to share money in the federation account, it's the commissioner of finance in all the states of the federation and the minister of finance that sit down. Now, when you extend it, are you going to call treasurer of all the local government to also come to Abuja to come and share funds? Gradually, we'll be creating a confusion. If you are talking of a federal system that is not unitary, when we work under unitary, federal government can do anything. They can bypass the state to deal with the local government directly.
So you're saying for these guidelines to be effective, there will have to be constitutional amendment?
Amendment, removing that federal status from Nigeria, because there are only two federating units under the federal system, the state and the federal government. If the federal government is so desirous of controlling the local government, the constitution has to be abolished. Then we return to unitary system of government, where order go directly both to the state and the local government. I can tell you, there are two major exclusive items on the within which the state can legislate on. That is local government and chieftaincy affairs. Federal government is overloaded. They have international affairs.
Even local government boundaries is under the state.
They have international affairs, they have security, they have army, they have everything under them. Mineral resources in Nigeria is exclusively to the federal government. Now you are coming to the strict province of the state to legislate, to use your agency to continue to control. Then gradually we are no longer practicing federalism in this country.
Okay, just a moment. Let's quickly listen to one interview granted by Femi Falana, Senior Advocate of Nigeria. Let's hear his own position on this issue.
The NFIU or the guidelines are anchored on the provisions of the newly enacted NFIU Act. Unfortunately, the governors that have criticized the guidelines have not bothered with profound respect to read the guidelines. And mind you, the legislators that enacted the law are representing all the constituencies in the country. Two, Nigeria is a member of the international community. We are represented in the Edmond Group, which has designed 40 rules, regulations for stopping money laundering or for regulating movement of funds all over the world. Nigeria was suspended because the NFIU was not made autonomous, because it was warehoused in the office of the EFCC. The Edmond Group insisted that this body should be autonomous. There were other issues raised, and the National Assembly sat down with the executive to have the NFIU Act. The bill was passed by both houses of the National Assembly, unanimously passed, before it was transmitted to the president for his assent. And without wasting any time, it was not one of those laws that the president raised any objections, or any, he had no problem with the law, and he assented to it. So if an agency of the government, empowered by law to regulate finances in the country, now comes up with some policies to say we want to ensure that funds are not moved towards the funding of terrorism, nobody can quarrel with that, because all of us have a duty to keep terrorism at bay. I have studied the Constitution. I've studied the guidelines vis-a-vis the Constitution with profound respect. I haven't seen any conflict. I would like to advise the government to have a critical look at the relevant provisions of the Constitution. There's no doubt that Section 162 of the Constitution provides that there has to be a joint state-local government account. What the guidelines are saying essentially, local governments in the country cannot withdraw more than 500,000 naira at a go a day. I can't see any problem.
A senior advocate of Nigeria, making his position known on these NFIU guidelines. Bryce Maraki Ogele, what do you think about Femi
Falana has already spoken my mind, and that's my mind working towards it. Let me tell you, I must first of all recapitulate that the establishment of a local government is within the four corners of our constitution. So the state governments, so the judiciary, so the legislation, and so on like that. And let me tell you, the problem we have in this country is that the attorney general we have in this country, they don't even bother to act whether there's a new act about this unit fund. Now, an act has been passed, given the NFIU autonomy to check the excess, to track fund of any, of any federal government allocation. Now, they have been reading upside down the provision of Section 162. Let me tell you that those provisions is as clear as summer sky. Equally, Section 7 of the Constitution. And to begin, where Femfana needed it. And let me tell you, what is there is that according to Section 7, establishing the local government, the only supervisory duty of any government is to see how these funds are being used. Now, if you go to 4th schedule of our constitution, you see the series, you see how they line up, how they stated the functions of local government here and there. Where do they now get money to finance all this something?
But Bryce Article stated one important fact. He said, what about the case where they have to share revenue generated by the state?
Now, let me tell you, formally, when the government is was good. The only thing is that you leave local government with their own revenue, IGR. You don't touch them. Bicycle license, radio, everything, you leave them. And I could remember, when we have developed within local government areas, during Babangida era, in fact, he encouraged them to have their own attorney general.
That would be making it a total government.
Is it total anywhere, any day? Is it total government?
That means we're not practicing federalism.
Which kind of federalism? No, that one has not eroded the principle of federalism. That's what you don't know.
It's a two-tier system of government.
I'm coming. Now, let me tell you, the local government fund are becoming a bottomless pit for our local government, for our governors. Nobody to check them, nothing whatsoever. Now, in case of Ekiti, let me tell you a certain situation. There is a road at the back of my house, and the former governor...
Where in Ekiti?
In Ekiti, correct.
In Ekiti.
The former governor now compelled that local government to say, look, you have tried this place, and it has not been done. And this is the problem is running to now. And let me tell you about this accountability. The local government, administrative, they are having accountability within their fund. So you cannot say now that state government should account for the money allocated to any local government. So what we are saying in essence is this. Now, the apology to our governors, they are constitutionally and legally bankrupt when it comes to law of this country. And let me the new act, NFIU Act
2018.
Yeah, 2018. It has, enunciated everything, trumpeted everything that look, they have now authority. They have the authority. That is why Fefalan was saying that is why that Nigeria was suspended from the global but they came back home, they said, look, let these people an authority. They don't take order from anybody. So I'm still persisting and insisting that the orders so given by NFIU unit, is as sound as anything. It's make our local government to make them to be developed, to the well-being of those who are there.
Okay.
So there is no conflict at all. There are no conflict.
Okay, let me turn to Dr. Ani. In his May-19 letter to President Muhammadu Buhari, the Nigerian Governors Forum states, let me read, that he wishes to express his dismay and angst at the attempts to ridicule our collective integrity. When you look at this whole issue, people always say governors embezzle local government funds. It's an issue in Nigeria. Would you truly say that people have been unfair to these governors when it comes to the issue of hedging funds?
Well, you see, the truth of the matter is that there is what I call pervasive ignorance about local government administration in Nigeria. Sometimes people are highly emotional in this country, and that is why we always go one step forward and then one step backward. The NFIU Act is supposed to deal with money laundering. There is nothing else about it. Now, money laundering, how much goes to the local government? A typical local government, the richest local government in this state or Ekiti state probably will be taking 100 million naira a month. So, if we are tracking money laundering, is it 100 million naira to a local government that somebody will take as a entertainment allowance in NNPC? That is the issue. The issue is that there is a calculated attempt to undermine the constitution, to blackmail the governors as the problem. Now, let me tell you why this thing may not even work. If the objective of NFIU is to curtail money laundering, for instance, how much they can withdraw or whether all transactions must go through bank, I have no problem with that. No governor has problem with that. In fact, in the state government, you can't possibly transact business money in cash. You understand? So the problem is not whether money is released in cash or is through a financial system. What we are talking about here is, like Mr. Ogeli said, he said NFIU order. When NFIU begins to give order,
there are guidelines. No,
what I'm trying to say.
He called it order, but there are guidelines.
Okay, excuse me, sir. I don't want to be interrupted. I don't want
to I said by virtue of NFIU Act, they have the unlimited and unrestricted power to give direction to how
military order. Okay. Let's take it.
I will give you.
Sorry.
I have the act there. I have the soft copy, and I'll see quote sections of the act as we go on the program.
So now, what I want to say therefore is that the administration of the local government, a lot of people don't know the complexity. This money we are talking about, why they have jack. There is the historical reasons why we had jack.
Okay.
For instance, how did we come with Subeb? People don't know the history of Subeb. The 1994-95 strike that took primary school almost 1 year of strike before we now had universal basic education. Then in Abuja. Then we now have Subeb at state level. Now, what the local government teachers, what they fought for is that their salary must be paid by the state, not by the local government, because that time, local government was paying their salaries. Now, as of today, we have Local Government Service Commission that actually employs the local government staff. So the DA, the treasurer, all these people working in the local government are actually the staff of Local Government Service Commission. We have Local Government Pensions Commission.
Yes.
All of them are resident within the state control. We have Local Government Auditor General. Now, these are the people that audit the local government account. And all these things, they have a percentage of local government allocation that is used to service them. For instance, the traditional institution takes 5% of the local government allocation. So when the money comes, the 5% goes to them to run the traditional institution.
That one is
Sorry.
Barrister Ogele, you have your time. Barrister Ogele, please do not. Barrister Ogele, you have your time. Please do not interject. Barrister Ogele, Barrister Ogele, please. Barrister Ogele, you will have your time, please.
Now,
Dr. Ani.
What this implicates is that when the money comes to the JAC, that is exactly what JAC does. JAC will look at how much goes to the traditional institution, local government service commission, pensions board, local government teachers, local government doctors, the health management agency as they now have it. Now, when they take all these things, the balance then go to the local government. Then the local government will now pay its own workers, its own staff. Now, what normally, in fact, there are cases where what goes to some local government, the balance of what they have is not able to pay salary. The state have to augment for them. I have told a lot of people that because there is this assumption that when the money comes, the government
examples.
You see, I have seen.
Barrister Ogele, I will come to you.
I have seen.
Barrister Ogele, please. I will come to you.
I don't want to say. I will come to you.
Barrister Ogele, please.
I don't want to say that.
He has his time now.
I don't want to say that.
I will come to you. Please, doctor, continue.
I don't want to say that the same thing applies in all states.
In all states.
And I don't want to stand here and say maybe some governors are not pushing their hands into.
You will not be sure.
But I can't be sure of what happens everywhere. But what I tell you is that in reality, we have seen during the 1999 to 2003, we had zero local government allocation in this country. Right. In fact, the state have to take up the salary payment of many of the local government. Right. So now the issue is that what this tells us is that there is a symbiotic relationship between local government and, for instance, if you say each local government should go and employ its own workers, what happens to the current people that are being employed by the local government service commission? If you say if you return the teachers back to the exclusive control of the local government. Now, if like what used to happen before 1995, what happened then was that local government staff, the chairman and the councillor get paid. The local government staff who prepare the vouchers and salaries get paid. Then the teachers who are in the remote places are not paid. And when they don't get paid, they go on strike. So we return to the era of one month strike, 1 month work, 1 month strike, 1 month. That is what what is likely to happen. So the arrangement we have now, if NFIU is looking at how to curtail corruption or money laundering, I don't think there is any governor in Nigeria that is against that. It is in our collective interest.
Let me quickly ask you this before I move on to another respondent. Let me quickly ask you this, Dr. Ani.
Yeah.
If the funds go directly to the local government, would it in any way even check corruption?
In fact,
the local government chairman are human beings.
If there is any journalism I have done, it's local government, it's grassroots journalism. At least I have taught more than 400 local governments in this country.
Would it in any way? Would this in any way?
That's what I want to tell you.
Because the Senate says it will end corruption by 60%.
It's a lie. It's a lie. I can tell you it's a lie. See, let me tell you. People don't know that there are many local governments in this country without even a banking facility. If you have traveled in the north, they collect cash, salary. Even as we are talking now, with all the financial system we have, they still collect salary in about 100, 200 kilometers state capital or the next local government to get workers paid in the rural area. So when we talk of corruption, corruption is not what really happens between the sharing in JAC and what happens at the local government. Now, for instance, a local government is given 50 million naira as net payment at the end of the day. He still has this 50 million naira. Let us even say the governor is no longer in his control. He is not in any way in control. If the governor still wants him to give him 10 million naira, would they not know how to route it? So it doesn't really hang. It doesn't really hang.
You have a point.
Yeah, it doesn't really hang with just
Barrister Ogele, I'll come to you. Barrister Ogele, please. I'm turning, please. Barrister Charles Tituloye, please. Data from the Office of the Accountant General states that between 2008 and 2018, that over 14 trillion naira has been allocated to local governments in Nigeria, the 774 local government. within this period, the Lagos State, Kano got 832.6 billion. Lagos State got 829.6 billion. Katsina got 613.4 billion. Oyo got 569.6 billion. Why Kaduna got 504.9 billion. These are the 5 states with the highest allocation. And they say that NFIU says that a larger percentage of this money has been misappropriated and diverted. And they also say that I want to quote it so that in the press statement they issue, they say that that their findings indicate that cash withdrawals and transactions for the state and joint local government account pose the biggest corruption, money laundering, and security threat at grassroots level and to the entire financial system and the country as a whole.
Exactly.
And if you look at just a minute, if you look at if you look at section 16 of the NFIU Act, let me quickly read that to you. Section 16. I'm looking for it. The director, that's the director of the NFIU, may, in line with the operational procedures of the unit, issue a directive placing all accounts under surveillance. If it's any account under surveillance, if it's satisfied that the account relates to a financial intelligence inquiry that is being conducted by the unit. Now, if you go to subsection 2 of section 16, it states that the directive referred to in subsection 1 may be issued where there are reasonable grounds to believe that the owner of the account or any other person connected to the account is suspected to have, I'm reading subsection 2D, to have committed 1, a money laundering offense within the provisions of the Money Laundering Prohibition Act, committed a terrorism financing offense under the Terrorism Prevention Act, property constituting or derived from unlawful activity, property constituting the instrumentality of unlawful activity, or derived from a benefit from unlawful activity. And then 2 is says that if there are reasonable grounds for believing that material which may be provided in compliance with the directive is likely to be of substantial value, whether or not by relief, to the financial intelligence inquiry for the purpose of which directive is sought. When you look at what you say in their press statement and what this act states, which of course the NFIU is relying on, as a lawyer, what do you make of this?
There's no problem with tracking of government funds.
What they are saying, what NFIU says that, let me make it clear to you.
We are interested.
Let me make it clear. You know, the NGF says that the NFIU does not have any power, constitutional power, to issue these guidelines. And they are saying that under the law, going by the NFIU Act 2018, that they have this power.
Exactly.
You see,
That's what we have been saying.
Please, I'll come to you.
The problem at hand is not issuance of guidelines to track funds. What we are saying is this. When a federal agency, forget the fact that the body we are talking about is a federal agency. When a federal agency go to an area within the exclusive jurisdiction of the state and pretend to supervise, their action has gone beyond monitoring of funds. That is our own argument. We are not saying when this money is released, don't monitor how the chairmen are going to distribute it or the governors are going to distribute it. But you cannot supervise. The supervisory role in sharing of allocation to local government is strictly given to the state. When the federal body purportedly sit down to issue guidelines, you cannot do this, you cannot do that with local government fund. You cannot do this, you cannot do that with local government fund. That body has descended to the arena of conflict. It's not looking, it's not taking what we call extra-constitutional duty, which Barrister Ogre just said something. He said the law has been passed. You cannot pass a law that is ultra-virus. Yes, the act has been passed. You cannot pass a law that is ultra-virus the Constitution. No. The Constitution is gone on.
So you're saying if there's an act that is in conflict with the Constitution, the Constitution will take preeminence.
That is the provision of our law. That is the provision of Section 3 of the Constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria. The National Assembly.
Would you then say this was not clearly thought through?
The duty of the National Assembly. You see, some people are trying to circumvent the amendment of our constitution. The National Assembly attempted to amend this constitution
That particular part.
and give total autonomy
To the local government.
local government
But
and
they
create
failed.
local government as a tier of government. They were not able to get the percentage of local of House of Assembly
So
of
you say
state.
they are going through the back door.
Yes.
That's it.
So they now want to give power to an agency to now do what they failed to do in the process of constitutional amendment. And we are saying no. The procedure is very clear. If you are not satisfied with that section 162
62, then you do
of
an
the
amendment.
constitution, you amend it. You remove the power of the state. Allow the federal government to do directly. But if our country is governed by rule
And
of
if
law,
the power of the state is removed, would that not turn Nigeria into a unitary government?
it will be a sad day when for somebody to be a councillor, you have to go to Abuja. For somebody to be a local government chairman, you have to go to the essence of local governance is defeated. If you have to travel as far as the federal capital territory before you get fund, it is called local government. It is not state government. If it is local government, their influence, their activity should be restricted to the local terrain. So we are having a situation where some people want to urbanize the local government. They want to turn them to the same way the governor go camping now to beg for fund in Abuja. Local government chairman will be doing the same thing. If you are not
Let me
careful.
quickly ask you this, because the NGF says is in court on this matter. Why then do you think that the case instituted by the Akwa Ibom state government was turned down by the federal High Court?
No, you see, the court has a discretion.
Okay.
There is a motion before the court purportedly asking that there should be a stay of implementation of
Of
that,
the
of that directive.
guidelines.
And the issue is this: is it urgent? When there is urgency, the court will look at it and put a stop to it. But the court is of the opinion that this guideline, the proposal have been known for some time, and they were not in court. Now that it is about to be implemented, they are coming. So the court said there is no urgency in this matter anymore. Let's go to the substantive case. It's not as if the federal government won the Akwa Ibom case. It's mere motion, interlocutory application, which has not touched the substance of the case. But the way they were, the way the media have been taking the issues as if there is already a victory in favor of the federal government in respect of that issue, which is very, very wrong. Also, the governor forum, they have also instituted their own action, which is yet to be mentioned in court. So the issue at hand is this: until there is a pronouncement of the Supreme Court on that matter, the matter is not over. The way people take about it, there is an act. How can an act override the Constitution of Federal Republic?
Before I go
of
to
Nigeria?
Barrister Ogele, let me ask
It's
you.
not possible.
Would you then say that maybe the National Assembly and the executive arm of government, I'm talking about the federal government now, in enacting this, clearly did not think it through?
I think
When you look at the Constitution,
you see the failure of an attempt to properly create a probity system of government in the local government is the feeling of the federal government that they can go it alone. You cannot go it alone. Once the Constitution says local government is under the state, they are a major stakeholder. You have to get them involved. How do we ensure that local government funds are properly utilized? And these are people will give you suggestions, because many of them have seen a lot in terms of handling the local government. Somebody just mentioned that, oh, there is going to be development at the grassroots when the money is released to the chairman. And the chairman and angels, are they from America?
they are human beings.
Look,
I think most of
the,
stated at the state
the
government.
truth of the matter is that if anything can happen at the state level, can happen at the federal, can also happen at the local government. Let nobody tell us that local governments have become a saint overnight. We have seen in this state where local governments sit down and use their allocation as thrift. They were contributing 5 million naira every year, every month, and distributing them among themselves, all because the government allowed them to have free access to funds. We must.
What about NOGA is in support? The Senate is in support of this. NOGA, National Union of Local Government Employees, are in support of this. Agon is in support of this. What would you say about their position on this?
The unions will continue to argue in favor of autonomy of the local government, but I have continued to ask them one question: how do we check the local government if we give you all the power?
No, let us even ask this
How do,
question.
let me give you an instance. If you look at our federal constitution, there are 3 arms of government at the state level: executive, judiciary,
And the
and
legislature.
the legislature. it has created the checks and balances we are talking about. And the local government, we only have a legislative arm consisting of councillor. And so when the structure at the local government is like that, and I can tell you, the chairman, they do a lot of things with their councillor. They will make sure if you don't cooperate with them, you will not get fund. They will frustrate you. And so you will go and pass the law they want you to, but the bylaw you want them to pass. So the truth is that it is even at the grassroots that we are going to have the greatest corruption if you are not careful in the implementation of this issue.
Okay, Barrister Morati.
Sorry, before you go.
No,
sorry.
no.
Before you go.
No,
I want to make this.
Okay, Barrister, just
sorry,
30 seconds. 30 seconds.
Now, let us ask the neighborhood leaders. You know, they always are eager. They tell you about autonomy. How many of them want to be local government staff and not state staff? Why do they negotiate their wages with state government and not their local government employers? They want autonomy. But when it is about their benefit, promotion, pension, and everything, they want government to be in charge, the state to be in charge. But when it is, when it is minimum wage, they don't want to talk to any chairman. They will want to talk to even Abuja. They want to talk to the highest level. But when it comes to controlling, funds, then they will say we want to be in charge. We know why. We know the richest directors in this state, the hotels, the houses. We know those who own them. We know where they work. So,
where do they work?
I mean, we are going to debate
that. You'll be itchy to talk.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before we go on, my colleague doctor here said that corruption will be spreading if they make them to be autonomous. And let me tell you, Fauci embezzle 1.2 billion.
I didn't say that.
I'm coming. Fauci embezzle 1.2 billion.
That's an
No,
allegation.
it's an allegation, please.
No.
Let's not get in there.
That's an allegation.
No court has indicted him for that.
Please, not now. I put up almost 89 petitions. And it was
You're talking about his first time. Was he indicted?
Yes. And he was indicted. I have the report. Because I was the engineer.
Not by law court.
I'm coming. It's in the constitution that any EFCC indicted him.
EFCC is not a law court.
Why I make allusion to that was that
because he came back after that to be governor. I remember the issue of the administrative inquiry came up and that was trashed by the court.
It's not a matter of EFCC indicted him. And number two, now I just want to counter that if there's autonomy to local government, then corruption will be flowing unabated. No.
Serious one.
I'm coming. State governors started this thing. Now, they have been talking about allocation. What have they been doing with the state allocation apart from local government allocation? Majority of them have been taking 500 million as security vote. What is the outcome of that security vote? We don't know. Then number two, they are saying that the
NFIU.
Yes, it's a conflict with the constitution. No, I could remember.
So you're saying that the act agrees completely with the constitution?
When the act of ICPC and EFCC were passed by the House of Assembly, the Attorney General of Ondo State then went to court saying that, look, it's against the constitution of this country. It's clinical. Then the Supreme Court answered him that, look, it's even upgrading I think section 43 that every governor should support any of the agencies fighting for corruption. So that was the decision, and they will meet that one again. But what I'm trying to say is that because you want to make local government autonomy, one, we must consider many things. One, the development of that area. They are not be developing anything. When local government was made, to be the autonomy, to control their funds, we know many infrastructure they made during that time. That was during Babangida regime. I could remember in my own local government, Kerikiti, there was serious development here and there. Development of infrastructure here and there and on. Provision of potable water. But what we are still saying is that because the state governors, they are making inquiry to local government funds, the local government could not be able to perform their constitutional duties again, as provided for in Schedule 4 of this constitution. Now, about this act, the act is appropriate. This act, very, very appropriate. Because they are saying zero allocation, disallocation. Who has been taking this money to make the allocation of local government be zero? The governors, they are the alpha and omega. They have taken the local government as one of the parastatal that they can call money for anytime, any day. So now, responsibility is accountability. Accountability now is punishability or rewardability. If the money is being directed No, directly to them. Let the officer there be responsible for it. The auditors are there. The FCC is still around. You know, the fear of man now is the wisdom of it.
Okay,
So
okay.
what we are saying is that the NFIU Act is in, right direction.
Until the Supreme Court says so.
I'm coming. No, they will say so.
Until the Supreme Court says so.
I've cited the president. He's from all those states.
Okay, quickly.
So what we are saying in a sense is this, sir, that there's no way we should, at least for a year, let this autonomy be there. If after a year, then things have gone wrong again, then they withdraw it. But as of now, let's try. Nothing tried, nothing won. And that's my stand.
Okay, like I said at the beginning of the program, Saturday, the NFIU said the guidelines will come into effect on June 1, which was Saturday. But then the NGF is insisting that it's not going to comply with the guidelines. Let me quickly read excerpt of the letter to the president from the governor. Section 162, subsection 6. The Constitution expressly provides for the creation of the state joint local government account, into which shall be paid all allocations to the local government councils of the state from the federation account and from the government of the state. Nothing in the NFIU Act 2018 full enforcement of corresponding sanctions against violations from 1st of June 2019. We observed isolated comments to the contrary in the past few days, which in our assessment only amounted to willful misinterpretation of the 1999 Constitution and therefore of no consequence to the operations of the entire financial system.
Yes.
Now, I'm coming to you.
Yes.
Now, there's this back and forth. The governor says no,
the
the NFIU says they are going ahead.
Yes.
And today is June 3.
Is
What
there.
do you make of this back and forth? And what is the implication? What is the implication of this back and forth?
You see the failure of this so-called intelligence unit.
It has not been failed.
The failure is to appreciate the fact that bankers are not government. Bankers are institutions governed by law. Their aim is basically they have duty to their customers. And they are regulated by government so that they strictly perform their role. You cannot have a situation where we have my fund in a bank and the bank will direct me, this is where to distribute it, this is where to distribute it. The bank does not have such power. They have to obey the mandates duly given.
But you know the CBN can regulate the bank. You know the CBN can regulate the bank. And the NFIU is domiciled within the CBN.
What the bank can do is to give information.
No.
They give intelligence information to government on movement of fund. The banks are not supposed to now act as an external body to now start checkmating the activities of their customers. If I have my money in the bank, this is practical. If I have my money in the bank, the bank has a duty to inform the government that I have issued a check of 5 million naira. I have issued a check of 10 million naira. They cannot ask me not to issue check over my fund.
They have not.
That fund belongs to the state and local government.
No, they say you cannot
They
make
have not
withdrawal. They say you cannot make They say you cannot make withdrawal above 500,000. That if you want to do that, you have to issue a check or you do transaction.
The issue at hand is this.
That's what I'm saying.
What is the power
It's as clear as
to control? You see, the way they are going about this matter is as if that unit has a power to distribute fund. They don't have the power of distribution. The Constitution says the fund will be allocated to the state.
But they have the power to monitor.
And the state will distribute.
They have the power to monitor it.
Now, you are now giving instruction to a body that keeps the money.
Yeah.
That when the state order that distribution should be done by withdrawal of 1 million naira cash, they should dishonor it.
No, they are saying they should issue a check or do a transaction.
No, supposing the state needs that 1 million naira cash and say it should the bank has no other
for instance,
duty than to release it. If they don't release it,
for instance,
they will be in breach of banker and customer relationship.
No.
They are liable in law.
The law is there. No.
You had your time and you still have your time. Let me stop interjecting.
Under constitutional law,
please. Dr. Ani, you have the floor.
All right. For instance, to portray what he has just said. I told you that there are many local governments that don't have financial institutions that can pay them through all this whatever. They still pay by cash. I also told you that, for instance, let's say a state is operating For instance, the last time that the Ekiti state government, which of course will start very soon again, this social investment for the elderly. The elderly were paid in their
In
houses.
cash, yeah.
In
Not only
cash.
that, pay aside
As
sometimes happen.
Yeah, that's what
check
I mean.
those workers.
Yeah, of
to check
course.
with- so now, let's say a local government, the local government in Ekiti wants to, they want to key in into the state government agenda. That, okay, if the governor is doing 2,000, our local government, we want to do 500 also. Now, you are now saying that the local government cannot take cash and pay and give to people who want it. You see, that is not how to fight corruption. If the essence is money laundering, the first objective of Money Laundering Act is to ensure that you don't use money for terrorism, for drug, and for illegal things that are harmful. Now, as to whether people
Including acquiring illegal properties and all that.
what have you, and all these ones are very easy to trace. For instance, all the people that have been tried at federal level, they did not take their money from local government now, did they? All the governors that are under trial, they did not take the money. They are not being tried because of local government funds. There are chairmen, directors, and head of local governments that have been tried and sentenced in this country. So what we are saying is that you do not say because you want to cut your nose. You want to spite your face. You don't say because you want to kill an ant, then you use a sledgehammer. So what is happening is that if this law is not well thought through, I'm very interested in the structure of the local government as it is now. The Constitution says the House of Assembly shall provide for the financial regulation of the local government. And they have a budget. This local government also have a budget passed by the House of Assembly. Now, if in the House of Assembly, if the local government said, okay, we have identified people in, there are local government in this country, we have people in IDP. And local government practically have to feed them, provide for their daily needs. Sometimes they have to give them cash. To buy basic things of toiletry and things like that. And you are now saying that it's an illegality for you to help people in Bama IDP or in Guzamala IDP who are in their thousands. Even if you have to give them 1,000, they are more than 500. That is already 500,000. And so if the local government in Bama said, okay, we want to, these people in IDP, we are giving them 2,000 naira to buy soap, to buy toiletry every month. You say they have committed an offense. So this is what we are talking about. People just think.
I'm coming to you next. Please hold on. Hold on, please. Hold on.
Think the argument is all about.
Please, I'm coming to you next.
I am telling you. Let me tell you this.
Governance.
See,
it's not an individual.
Hello.
Now,
Please, let's stay on point.
What I'm saying in essence is that the heart of man is very dark. Okay, if a local, for instance, former governor in Ekiti State, Fayose, continuously accused Obasanjo of twisting the state government to donate to his library. He said Ekiti State, he donated 10 million naira on behalf of Ekiti State. And what I'm saying in essence is that it means if local government, if governors if governors can be untwisted, even with so-called financial regulations, there is a way the governors can still untwist the local government chairman such that even this so-called NFIU this thing will not be able to do much about it. What is important is to make people responsible. It's not as if funds are not going to
create a culture of accountability
and transparency.
That is it. It's not to microgovern every layer of government.
And federal government to be the colonial master.
Quickly, because of our time.
Here they are extending, this issue to another thing entirely. What that unit is saying is that we want to see that the money being allocated to local government is spent within, the armpit of that local government. And number two, that you have not read the act. That
I've read it.
That now, as from June, the local government should face their duties, constitutional roles, as contained in 4th schedule. And number three, they are not saying that, look, don't issue your check. But what they are saying is that if you want to do anything, transact it. Anything above 500,000. That is how they can shed corruption. Let me tell you something which is still clear. It's as clear as summer sky. That if we leave local government to the hands of state governors, then sooner or later, nothing like local government again. With what is what is operating now. Go to some local governments. There's nothing there. They cannot even they don't have any fund to even cut the grass. That, I mean, within their premises. This is the handwork of local government. But what we are saying essence now is that leave the local government. Let them develop their own areas. The local people are there. Let them provide us with.
Barrister Ogele time is fast. So let me turn to Barrister Charles Tigiloye. Quickly, with all these,
the act is
with all these problems,
it's constitutional.
what if indeed the intention of the federal government is to check corruption?
It's to check corruption.
What do you think is the proper way to go?
The proper way to go is this. In our constitution, we have fixed tenure for the governors, for House of Assembly, for the president, for the senators. In our constitution, there is no such provision for the officers of the local government. I think this is what we should be doing. If you say you want to check a situation where state governors dissolve the local government at random, set up the ethical committee. Why don't you put the various positions in the local government in the constitution and give them a fixed tenure and ensure election is conducted once every 3 years throughout the nation for the local government? Let's see the governor who will go and dissolve outside the period within which they are supposed to run. These are issues. These are issues that government, that National Assembly is running away from. The issue is if you remove local government from the state, totally you have turned Nigeria to a unitary system. You turn it to a military government, a situation where that just come from above. If Nigeria has to develop, everybody, competent unit must develop at its own pace. At our own pace, we will decide in those states the number of local government we want to have. We decide the number of SCDA we want to have. But you cannot continue to force on Nigeria a specific number of local government as enshrined by the military. The military said that they gave us the number of local government, and since 1999, no state have been able to change the number of local government in the constitution.
Of course, yes.
And that is why we are saying, if it is true federalism we are going to have in this country, we will now have a situation where the number of local government as listed in the constitution will be removed. And the state will be at liberty. Create local